Hi, everybody. It's Kevin Beasley, Director of Contractor Sourcing here at US Pack, and I am excited to be back with I cannot believe I'm going to say this, but our sixth edition, edition of our on-time Courier podcast here at US Pack. It has been a lot of fun getting this thing up and going. We're getting a lot of great feedback and response from contractors in the fleet. So it's just been a real pleasure getting this out to y'all, and hope that you're finding it educational, beneficial, and a tool to help you run your business as effectively and profitably as you can. We've got some great guests this week. Before we get to that, though, I want to touch on a couple topics for everybody. One, if you're not aware of Quick Pay in our company, please look into it. We have a program now that as an independent contractor, you are able to sign up to receive your settlement within 24 hours of running your shipments. There's sometimes a nominal fee associated with that, but I will tell you it's nominal compared to the time it takes you to get your settlement quicker versus waiting for it. It's available to all independent contractors in our fleet. If you need information on it, reach out to your local field representative, reach out to my contractor sourcing team. We can certainly help you with it. But if it's something you're not aware of yet or need to learn a little bit more on, by all means do it. The program's been highly successful. In fact, I was just looking at some numbers today. The usage of it has been going up and up within our fleet. So certainly look into it. And if you got questions, reach out. We'll be happy to help you. The second thing I really want to touch on is our contractor portal, as we call it. Now, that portal is, those of you who have joined a company, I'll say in the last couple of years, you're familiar with the portal. The portal's where when you're onboarding with us, you go in and provide us information. You'll download important documents like driver's license and registration and insurance documentation. So if you joined in the last couple of years, you've utilized that. We're now expanding that so that portal is now there to be a tool for you. And I mean a tool in the fact that there are links out there to certainly the contractor marketplace, which we covered a few episodes ago, which there are a lot of great discount programs out there that you can take advantage of. There's places to purchase US Pack merchandise are out there. Bulletins, important notices going on in the company will be placed out there. So it's really a great hub for you as a contractor in our company to go out and see the latest of what's going on. You can also see the podcast on there. So so that right there alone is worth going out to it, right? So check into that portal. Again, if you need help with it, reach out. The driver experience is available to help you, the sourcing team, your local field representative. But it really is a great tool for you as contractors. And again, what I was mentioning a few moments ago about driver quick pay, that is on there as well, about how to sign up for it, questions on it, all that kind of stuff. By all means, if you want to get access to that portal, get out there and let us know what we can do to help you. The third thing I'm going to touch on before we get to our guest is, we're doing more and more with quality. And in fact, it's kind of a hint for somebody we're going to have as a guest later today. Quality, the types of products we're hauling, that kind of stuff that require more training required by the customers, levels of compliance that need to be done. So now when contractors join our company and are going to service certain accounts, they have to go through online video orientation. So it is video modules that are required to complete by the customers to make sure we're giving you all the information that you need to have to be successful in our company as part of US Pack as a contractor for us, servicing some of our customers. So as you are maybe looking to do different pieces of work, or you may be a master contractor having subcontractors come on for you, they may be asked to complete some of these video modules. So they're important. They're quick and easy to do. You can log into them on almost any device to complete them, but great tools out there. If you do get asked to do them and you have any questions, or again, need help with it, reach out to any of us, sourcing, driver experience. We'll be able to help you out and answer any questions for you. So as we get into that, we're going to start getting on to our guest. The first guest we have is going to be our Director of Quality, Tabitha Terebieniec. Tabitha comes to us with a great deal of experience. We're going to have a great discussion on quality and how it can impact you in your day-to-day business. Then we're going to meet with Billias. Liz is our compliance expert in the company. we're going to speak to her a little bit about what compliance means day to day and what you as contractors can do to remain compliant and make sure you're doing everything the right way so that our customers are requiring. So great guest today. We're also, as always, going to have our safety message as presented by Liz, which is key. So we got a lot of stuff lined up for you. Sit back, enjoy it, and at the very end, as you listen to it, I want to hear your feedback. What questions do you want answered? Who would you like to see be a guest on here? What can we provide you as a contractor at US PAC to help you be successful in your business? So having said all that, man, we got a lot to go. Let's get to our guest and get started. All right, everybody, here we are with our first guest this week. And again, we get really lucky with the quality of guests that we're able to bring in. But this week, our first guest is Tabitha Terebieniec. Tabitha is our Director of Quality for the company, which is kind of a fairly new department within our company. It's really exciting work. So, Tabby, thank you so much for joining us today.
You're very welcome. I'm happy to be here.
And I kind of ruined it. I called you Tabby. I apologize. Your name's Tabitha,
funny.
but you prefer Tabby, correct?
It's funny. Tabby reminds me of the young one, and now that I've hit a certain age, Tabitha seems to be the one I identify with. But Tabby's fine because it helps me feel younger.
Well, Tabby, again, thank you so much for joining us today. Like I said, quality is a really new concept with our company. It's one that's it's quickly spread into almost every piece of the business.
Yeah.
So I know you're an expert at quality. Tell us a little bit about, first of all, yourself. We want to know about you, but then also what you've done in your career.
So Tabitha Terebieniec, as you've just found out, I am a certified quality auditor on top of everything, which means that I know how to go in, look at the different pieces of a quality program, pick it apart for the better, and help it get on its all four legs and keep going down the track. I am the director for the program at US PAC, and I've been in the transportation industry over 20 years and then quality over 30 years. So it's been something that's just it's not a degree I have, it's just been part of my life and something that happened and now it's my career. So that's where I'm at.
Well, that's great. Thank you for going through that. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're welcome. The majority of my work has been in transportation. So we're looking at transportation experience over 16 plus years. And then I've had over 7 plus years in manufacturing.
Wow, that's
long road.
That's a lot of experience that you bring to the company. And I know as you joined the company, Tabitha, you've basically built our quality program from the ground up. And having the vast experience that you do has been essential to that. So, we're fortunate to have you with the company. I'm really anxious to pick your brain here a little bit. So, and for that, if you're a contractor listening and you're like quality, okay, how does quality impact our business on a day-to-day basis, or even more so our contractors?
Well, quality, the first rule of quality is if it wasn't written, it wasn't done. So we need to make sure that as a contractor, we're documenting what we do. And the other thing that quality says is another rule is quality is everybody's responsibility. So it's not just me in a department sitting in my ivory tower telling everybody what to do. No, it's a give and take. It's a flow. And quality is all about doing good work and doing what you say you're going to do. So we have standards in place through our quality management system. And those are guided through ISO standards. So we run to ISO 9001:2015. There are several ISO standards out there, but that's the main one that we focus on. And that helps us find any nonconformances or things that happen in our work. And then my team helps investigate those. So we're kind of the detectives of the company. We find out why things happen, when they happen, how they happen, where they happen. We answer all of those types of questions, and then we give ideas to our operational folks on how we can improve going forward.
Awesome. Thank you for that. I'm imagining you with the Sherlock Holmes hat on and
Yes.
The big microscope stuff, investigating stuff. That's cool. And that kind of stuff you just went through, the fact that, what I was always taught about quality is you write down what you do and then you do what you say you do, right?
Yes, absolutely.
And customers, that's important to customers, isn't it? As we go out and sell our services and sell that, customers are seeking and looking for that kind of quality, are they not?
Absolutely, they are. And the nice thing is when you have a quality certified program like we do, my customer may have the same program because it's international and worldwide. If I talk about ISO 9001:2015, they know exactly what I'm talking about already. So they know everything we already have in place. So it helps boost us in the rankings, if you will, on who to work with.
And that's awesome. And I was going to say you're kind of jumping ahead, but let's touch on that for a second. So you mentioned ISO. We
Yeah.
got some pretty exciting news, or I say you have some exciting news to share about that, do you not?
Absolutely. So, about a month ago, we received our certificate. We have been through 3 ISO audits with the registrar. The registrar is the company that says, I have audited you. You perform and meet all the clauses and requirements of this standard. Therefore, you are now certified to it. So, we received our certification. We have several locations on that certificate to show that we have gone through the process, and it's a huge part of US PAC Med. We are now ISO certified, and I'm extremely excited about it. And they will be posting a copy of that certificate on our website soon, because there are certain legal things we have to follow when we post it so that it can't be used and doctored and things like that.
That is awesome. Congratulations on that. I know that was a lot of hard work by you and your team,
It
working
was.
also with several other team members throughout the company and members of contractors in our company. It's that's something we need to be proud of, is it not? That certification is not easy to receive.
Absolutely. It not only looks at the orientation materials, the training materials for employees, the vendors that we use, the procedures we have in place, but it looks like how we deal with nonconformances, corrective actions. Do we have continuous improvement in place? And it makes it just a heck of a lot easier to follow the various threads and processes throughout the company.
That's awesome. So having that and speaking about that ISO certification, which is hard to get, customers are seeking that. What does that do for our contractors? How does that impact them on a daily basis? Speak a little bit about that.
So, as a contractor, part of my ISO work is when I go through my orientation process. So, you have a customer that states, I would like X, Y, and Z done on my shipment. You have the contractor that goes through the orientation modules through our Reach 360 LMS for drivers. And then I'm also working with my department on creating takeaways or downloads and things that the driver can have. Because, sometimes we take these classes and it's fairly lengthy. Some of them, I will give it that. And we have to remember everything that we do. So these little takeaway documents can help us find out where we are at in the process and what exactly we need to do. The main thing is communication and evidence. So think of it like a detective again. If they ask me a question about this, I can provide them with that. So I have the documented evidence, not only in written procedures and handwritten notes, but I also have it through photos. And pictures are definitely worth 1,000 words.
That is great advice. And again, from a contractor perspective, so having that ISO certification we have now, there are certain customers that require that, right? They won't do business with a company unless they have an ISO certification. So it helps us to go out and get more business, does it not?
Absolutely, it does. Absolutely, it does.
Awesome.
I came from manufacturing where my company was bought out, and the company that bought us out had ISO certification, and we were just compliant at the company that I was originally with. But because we were compliant, we were able to loop it all in together. So instead of having their 5 plants that were compliant, we ended up going to 15 plants with compliance, and that helped to attract more customers. So yeah,
That's
definitely.
awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's great. That's a great news and great for our contractors to hear. So, if looking at it from our contractor perspective, so our contractors, master contractors in our company, what can they do from a capacity or quality standpoint to increase efficiency or help us with our partnerships with our customers? What can our contractors do to help that in the field?
And it's not just as far as quality goes, but I think it's just part of business. And this is something that my father had told me when I was young and starting out in the business world. And he was started out as a janitor at another company in Ohio. It was take pride in your work. It doesn't matter if you're the janitor or the CEO. Take pride in what you do. Represent yourself well. Represent the organization you're working for well. Just because you don't wear a suit and tie and sit in the corner office in a high rise doesn't mean that your job is any less important than the guy up in the ivory tower. So I think when you take pride in your work, that is just weaving quality into the fabric of what you do every day. And it makes your life a whole heck of a lot easier because the detective part of me does not like to come out. I'd rather be the board quality director because everybody's doing what they're supposed to be doing. It would be so much easier.
That is awesome. That's great advice, I think, for no matter, as you said, no matter what field you're in. And for our contractors, it's important to remember, I think, at times, the importance of some of the things that we transport for our customers, right?
Absolutely.
Particularly in the life science arena or the medical. I mean, we haul pharmaceuticals and stuff like that people are depending on.
Absolutely.
So it's important to realize what we do every day makes a difference, and having that ISO certification and all that just plays a part in ensuring that the work each of us does every day makes an impact in someone's life.
It sure does. It sure does. And I can't reiterate enough how important these life science shipments are. And a lot of the contractors might be hearing the term cell and gene or cell apheresis, S12, those types of terms. Those are treatments for cancer patients that have had their own blood cells taken out, modified using cartel seed therapy, which is a special way that they put cancer destroying cells back into the blood, and then they put it back into that person's bloodstream. It's 1 to 1. When that's taken out, it only goes back to that person, and it is a last chance for cure cancer treatment. And having somebody who lost their parent to cancer, who was very young, by the way, I would definitely say super important and very proud that we are doing this for our customers.
That's really, when you think about that, the way you just went through that, Tabitha, the importance of that is, someone is depending on that. So it's important that we
Yes,
take pride in picking it up on time, making sure we follow all the procedures that are necessary, delivering on time, because there is a person waiting on the other end for that. So I think that
absolutely.
really brings to the forefront just how important the work is we do every day. So thank you for going through that. It's sobering stuff at times, but
It
it's great
is.
stuff to know that we can make an impact in people's lives.
Yes, and that's the part that I enjoy is knowing that we've done something to help somebody today and we'll be doing something to help somebody tomorrow, and hopefully that treatment that they're getting is going to be the eventual cure for all cancers, and US PAC can say we had a part in it. So don't
Fingers
think of
crossed
it
on
as
that.
a small part, US PAC. It's a huge part.
Absolutely, it is. So this has been great, Tabitha. The experience that you bring to the company, everything you just touched on, and educating us on all that. Thank you for all of that. As we get ready to wrap up, do you have any words of advice or messages you would like to share with our contractors who are listening?
Yeah, absolutely. Instructions. Read your instructions very carefully. Your instructions are super important. Anytime there's a delay or an early, make sure you communicate back. Our customers love communication, believe it or not. They want to know every single step of the way what we're doing. Are we delayed in traffic? Was there a weather delay? Is there a huge pothole and I have to turn around? Anything like that that you could think of, please let us know. Delays, of course, will be communicated through our dispatch team back to the customer. We like to be on time on the course, but we know delays do happen. And then photos of your freight. Photos of your freight is your insurance policy. We've had complaints come in where boxes have been torn or damaged, but because we knew to take photos of those freight when they came into us from an airline or UPS, we were able to prove that it was not in our hands when that type of damage happens. So photos and communication, it's huge. It helps more than you know. It keeps me out of detective mode, as I said before. I think that would be my other life, probably Sherlock Holmes.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's just, and like I said, pride in your work. Taking pride in your work doesn't matter who you are, where you're working at. It really goes such a long way.
That is great advice again, and thank you for that. And taking photos is so easy these days, right? We all
It
carry our
is.
phones with us. You can never over document or
No.
over communicate, as you mentioned earlier.
Yep.
Those things are always in abundance. They're goods. Great, Tabitha. Again, thank you again for taking some time out of your busy
You're
schedule
welcome.
and sharing your experience and knowledge with us. I look forward to having you on a future episode too, as we can talk about more and more the great work you're doing in the company. So again, thank you. And I think now we're going to jump over to Liz Billias. So Tabby, again, thank you and have a great rest of your day.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thanks, Kevin. And thank you, Tabitha. As we head into the warmer months, this is your monthly safety message. And this time we're focusing on heat safety. Whether you're making deliveries in a car, a van, or a truck, the rising temperatures can impose serious health risks if you're not prepared. Heat exhaustion and heat stroke can happen very quickly, especially when you're on the move all day in and out of a vehicle. So a couple of important reminders: to hydrate constantly. Drink water throughout the day, not just when you feel thirst. Avoid energy drinks and sodas, albeit tempting. They will definitely dehydrate you. Dress smart. Wear lightweight, breathable clothing and light colored fabrics when possible. This will help reflect the sun. Use sun protection. Keep sunscreen and a hat in your vehicle. Your skin needs protection as well. Ventilate your vehicle. Crack your windows when parked and use sunshades to keep the temperatures down within your vehicle. And know the signs of heat stress: dizziness, heavy sweating, nausea, confusion. Any of those symptoms, stop immediately. Hydrate and cool down. Never ignore the early signs of heat stress. And of course, if those don't subside, please seek out medical attention. We care about your safety at US PAC, not just on the road, but in every condition that you face out there. Stay cool, and thank you for everything that you do. Until next time.
All right, everybody. We're very fortunate for our next guest to have a repeat guest with us. I'm very excited about this. We have with us today Liz Billias. Liz, you are our company vice president of compliance, capacity, and quality. I hope I got that right.
You did.
Liz, you're kind enough to join us again today. Appreciate that. Before we get started, tell us a little bit about yourself. Let the contractors know, about you.
Yeah, sure. So, Liz Billias. We won't do the title again.
Thank you.
I am privileged in that most of my areas of responsibility here at US PAC, directly work with the different aspects of US PAC's business relationship with our trusted business partners and our audience, the contracted driver and courier network, one of which is why I think you asked me to join you today, which is compliance.
Awesome. Yeah, compliance can help our contractors run their business efficiently and make sure they're doing everything they can to have a successful business. So compliance is certainly very important as you run businesses today. So, one of the important roles within your department is compliance, right? And the role compliance plays within our business. Can you talk a little bit about the compliance piece of it? What that means to contractors when it comes to protecting their business, being successful? I know that's something a lot of contractors would love to hear.
Sure. Yeah. And I'm going to break it down into a couple different sections because I think compliance is very important. When I think about compliance for independent contractors, especially in the delivery space or the logistics space, I'm really thinking about the basics of running what I would say are a safe, legal, and compliant professional, right? It really is not about red tape. When you think about compliance, sometimes people can feel that way. It's about protecting their business, their income, their ability to earn and provide for their families, and also their reputation as professional couriers in the line of work that they've chosen to do. So compliance for me covers a few areas. First being insurance, right? Certainly important when you're running a courier business, but it's generally important to anyone operating a motor vehicle, which in the delivery space, that's the bedrock of that business operation. So as an IC, they are responsible for carrying the right coverage. Certainly auto liability, cargo insurance is always recommended because if it lapses, they are immediately at risk and they can also put at risk their ability to be dispatched for additional work. Some other things I think about are driver's license and driving record. Seems like a no-brainer, right? That a valid driver's license is obvious. But what folks do forget is that many companies often check a driving record. A few serious infractions can put someone's dispatchability or the dispatch for their subcontractors right into question. Public safety is of paramount importance to certainly to US PAC and other logistics solutions providers like US PAC, and also their customers. So making sure that they're monitoring their driving record and their license status is a good business practice, I would say, as a whole. That parlays into vehicle compliance. Whether independent contractors operating in a car, a van, or a truck, those aren't just modes of transportation, right? It's their workspace. It's where they go to work every day. So it needs to meet the basic standards I would say for safety, maintenance, of course, and in some cases, appearance. Especially, and I know you've had a lot of guests on here that I've enjoyed listening to that talk about, our healthcare vertical and our advancements in that space, especially when it comes to healthcare or other more sensitive deliveries. The bar really is set so much higher, and the customers, for their patients, right, expect a higher caliber of service in terms of vehicle compliance. And then, finally, the last sort of all-encompassing bucket I would think about is documentation, right? So whether that's someone's U9 documents, right, which is their tax forms, making sure their address is up to date and correct, their certificates of insurance, their customer requirement certifications, and any other type of documentation they need to run their business up to date. Just one expired file can really halt dispatch status and make someone ineligible, them or their subcontractors. Something I think is important to note is that at USPAC, we send all of our contracted delivery partners 30 days advance notice of upcoming compliance document expirations. So to the contractor fleet, I would say, be on the lookout, make sure you're checking your spam folders, and ensure that you keep your email address up to date with us so that we can be sure that you are receiving those critical communications.
That is all great stuff. And certainly, Liz, I know you know more than most how litigious the world is today, right? And our contractors being independent business owners, one of the best ways to protect your business is to be compliant in all areas. So great advice. And I know you said, look out for those 30-day reminders and all that. I'm gonna spoil a little bit here, I guess, some upcoming news. Today, that's an email. At some point, that could be another form of communication, right, with our contractors?
Absolutely. We are always looking for better, easier, more streamlined and accessible ways to communicate with the contractors and for them to communicate with us. So we are always exploring better ways to do that. So I think that's a really good thing to place a bet on, would be that we'll have other modes of communicating that stuff.
Yep. More to come on that, everybody. So I'm kind of letting a little bit of the cat out of the bag, but more to come on that. So Liz, thank you. That's all great information. In your role, and you've been with USPAC for, I know, a number of years, in your role, how do you impact our independent contractors positively, throughout their business day or throughout their business? How would you say you impact our contractors?
Yeah, so it's a great question. And I would say, my role really touches the day-to-day life of our ICs in a couple of key ways. And when I say my role, I'm also speaking on behalf of the department and what the supporting folks in the department, what our goal and mission is every day, right? But it's to focus on making sure that the ICs stay compliant and ultimately are eligible to work, to receive those dispatch calls, that their account at USPAC remains active so that we can be reaching out to them, that they're getting a solid experience with clear communication and support at USPAC as it relates to their small courier businesses. And that if something goes wrong, a claim, for instance, right, which sometimes can be unavoidable and they're, a real occurrence in the business, and that we handle it fairly and fast. At the end of the day, my job and the role of the department is to clear the road, pardon the pun, so that they can focus on driving, running their business without any unnecessary bumps.
Awesome. Thank you for that. And I like when you say the phrase clear the road. Your background, we joked earlier, it's of a highway. Those are all our couriers out running shipments today. So we're
They're
excited
working
to see
hard.
They are working hard today. And it was good. You mentioned about how your department, everyone in your department, my team, quality, compliance, touches the contractors. And one of those areas is in trying to always improve their experience, right? So I know your department, your team, and you personally are working on several new developments or items for our contractors. Any you would like to share today or touch on about things we're doing to improve that experience?
Yeah. So, one initiative really stuck out to me as a key initiative that I think is really going to, and again, to greatly improve our ability to communicate with the independent contractor group, is the rollout and really ongoing development of USPAC's IC portal, which we call ACE, acronym ACE. A couple of months back, we introduced, the ACE portal as the contracting platform that our ICs interact with to submit their business information during the initial onboarding process. But since that time, we've added sort of what I'll call a one-stop shop feature that supports the IC's interaction and partnership with USPAC. As examples, we recently have launched and gone live with links to this podcast as an example on all platforms, a link to the website where contractors can access and purchase shirts or jackets, hats, things like that, that they may want to purchase. The contractor driver newsletter, it does go out by email, but we're also posting that in the portal as well. The Courier, this is On Time Courier. The name of the newsletter is the Courier. And also the contractor discount marketplace. The link is there. The code is there for that quick access. It also links them to information and the enrollment page for USPAC's Quick Pay program, which if the contractors are not familiar with it, it's a streamlined and escalated payment option through our partnership with Branch Bank. I would say it's also worth mentioning, and this is perfect timing of our podcast, that now through June the 7th, Quick Pay is actually free for the independent contractor group, which means there's no transaction fee. And that's to all USPAC contractors. So if you are not enrolled, definitely please do enroll and take advantage of this free period.
Awesome. That's a great update. So the Quick Pay, no fee for the next, till June 7th. That's exciting stuff. And also, Liz, so today, all contractors are eligible for Quick Pay, correct?
That is correct. All IC.
So,
that's right.
Yep. So so if you're out there running shipments and want the ability to receive your settlement within 24 hours, no matter what account you're on with us, healthcare, auto parts, whatever it may be, you can get Quick Pay and get your settlement within 24 hours. That's a lot of exciting stuff and a lot of stuff that many of our competitors don't offer. So that's a big advantage to being a contractor at USPAC. So
yeah,
great.
I was gonna say, if you're looking in, right, if you're watching our podcast and have been listening for a while and are wondering whether USPAC is the right partner for your business, know that Quick Pay is there. To your point, Kevin, a lot of, USPAC's competitors do not offer that, but it's a really great opportunity for ICs. Listen, you're putting fuel in your vehicle all day, right? You have expenses for your business that maybe can't wait for, whenever you submit your invoicing, right? Approving your orders weekly, monthly, whatever your cadence may be. This gives you that option to get access to that money faster.
Absolutely. Life happens, right? Sometimes you need access to that a little bit quicker. And it depends on how, each contractor runs their business. Having that cash flow of every 24 hours may work best for their business model. So great stuff. And like you said, a lot of good stuff going on with the contractors. That portal that you're speaking of is vital. And, you were mentioning earlier about the communications we send out to our contractors regarding expired documents and all that. That may at some point be on that portal, correct?
Absolutely. Right now, to your point earlier, the ICs are predominantly submitting their updated documents and paperwork through email form. Long term, we're hoping to be able to, not hoping to, we will get to the point where we can have those documents provided through the portal as a direct connect to the company versus having to start up another email, right? And all sort of the keystrokes that go with that. Constantly working and improving on this technology, the modes and means of communication and pathways for our contractor group through partnership with our IT team.
That's awesome. Thank you for that. Yeah, it's, I know being a part of your team, there are constant discussions on how we can improve the contractor experience, become the best partner for our contractors that we can. And those are just a couple of current examples on that. So Liz, thank you for that.
Absolutely.
So, in wrapping up, again, your role touches our contractors every day in many ways. What messages or what advice or thoughts would you share with our contractors?
So I would say, know that we see the work that you do as a contracted driver partner, and that we understand the challenges that come with running your own business on the road every day. Our goal as a company, but I would say specifically within the compliance and driver experience group, right, is to support you, protect your ability to keep working, and help make the process as smooth and consistent as possible, which is what we're attempting to do through the ACE portal, right? But I would say most importantly, we're truly grateful for the dedication and professionalism that you bring to your work every day. And just thank you for being an essential part of the USPAC network. I would also add that, Kevin, you mentioned we have a lot of discussions within the department and within the company of how we can improve that experience. But it really is important, and we get really good feedback from the drivers themselves. So I will always encourage and ask for the input of the independent contractors. If there are things that USPAC can provide you as a business partner that improve communications, that support your business in a way that you think you need when you're under dispatch for USPAC customers, we want to hear about it. So the driver experience team is always available to you, and we encourage you to reach out to them. So please do.
Awesome. Great thoughts. Great. And in fact, I think many of the initiatives we work on the Quick Pay now that came from feedback from our contractors. We do take that feedback, and as Liz says, we're constantly looking for ways to be a better partner for our contractors. Liz, as always, the time has flown by. I'll tell you what, this is our second time we've had you on. Plus, you're kind enough to do the safety message each month for us. Always great information for our contractors. So thank you so much for taking your valuable time to be here, be a part of that, share some of your thoughts and experience with the contractors. So again, thank you. And we'll have you on again in the future, certainly.
Sounds great. Well, thank you for having me on, and I look forward to the next invite.
Awesome. Thank you, Liz.
Thanks,
Take care. All right, there you have it, everybody. The end of another monthly US PAC On Time Courier podcast. Woo! These things are getting more and more action-packed every month. I want to thank our guests. Certainly thank to Tabitha and the quality department for joining us and really giving us some great information on quality and how US PAC is utilizing quality to increase our business and our business offerings for our contractors. Thank you again to Liz, as always, for coming in and really giving us some great details on how compliance comes in and how important compliance is in the business world, particularly in transportation. And then again, as always, thanks to our producer, director, editor extraordinaire, Kate Wiles, for all the great work she does behind the scenes. It's been another great edition. Again, reminder, please send in your questions, send in your thoughts. The more input we get from you, the better we can make this podcast for you. Moving forward, we want to make sure we get everything that you want to see in here, so that it is the best tool to help you successfully run your business. You can make it. So again, I'm lucky to be your host. My name's Kevin Beasley, and I'll see you again next month.